going to pot you guys down. Is someone with a radio out there? Because I'm going to do our countdown on the radio.
Do either of you guys have a radio?
Radio? Yeah.
He's going to count down and also count it down. Strong here at Camp Grier in Old Fort, North Carolina. I'm Drew. This is Sean.
Hi, folks. This is a endurance event here in Old Fort, North Carolina. It's both a race on mountain bike and by foot. It's a 6, 12, and 24-hour race, and we're here live watching it go on. It is currently into the 5.5-hour mark, so within 29 minutes, the 6-hour race will be concluding, meaning both mountain bike and running are going to have their first finish.
And as these finishers come through, they've had quite a morning so far. It was colder than this. We had some nice highs up near 50, and we're past the heat of the day again, and it's starting to cool off. We're starting to see people come through with nice, rosy cheeks.
Yes, temperature is dropping very quickly. The sun is coming down. And good news for our first finishers. They're going to be enjoying warm food and cold beer.
Yeah, the 6-hour finishers have had probably the highest pace of the day because they didn't have to dose it out over 12 or 24 hours. But we're looking forward to hear some more stories from them when they come across the line here in about a half hour.
Yeah, the bike race is very interesting. I'm a trail runner at heart, and to see the pace that the bikers are coming through has been really eye-opening to me. I kind of find it a very attractive part of the racing aspect of it. Might go get a mountain bike here soon.
Yeah, it's a great place to have a mountain bike here in Old Fort, but trails are great to run as well. Being a trail runner, let me ask you, what would you look for a pace time for a race like this?
Well, honestly, it changes as the race goes, so that's the toughest part in the very first couple laps. But I would believe, these top runners that are running these 6-hour race are somewhere in the 8.5 minute to 9 minute mile pace. It's hard to say it's trail. So these nasty climbs, we have 600 feet of gain on the loop for this 4-mile course. So it could vary, but I would say some of these top guys are hitting those kind of numbers for 6 hours straight.
Wow, that's kind of aggressive in my opinion. Being a mountain biker myself, I've communicated with a couple of these guys as they've come through. We're seeing between 40 and 44-minute laps for the really, really fast guys, and I'm telling you, for the amount of distance and the elevation that we're going here, just about over 3 miles, is pretty hard to keep up for the amount of time that they're going. Luckily, that was from people in the 6-hour group. I have to imagine the guys in the 12 and 24 are pacing it out quite a bit slower to leave some for the overnight.
Yes, in 12 and 24, it's a matter of endurance. So you could be doing a lap at a 12-minute pace or something very slow as a runner, and then wake up and 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, get a surge and really stomp out a lap. So, I mean, that endurance factor really comes into play, and the highs and lows of doing an endurance event like this.
Yeah. Talking about sleep and recuperation and nutrition and trying to keep your pace and all these things that you have to consider here, one of the cool factors about this event is we do have the sauna house right behind us. So if you got some of these overnight lows where it's going to be below freezing and you need to warm up for a little bit and you need to take a nap, wake up with a nice little sauna and get back out at it. That's quite a luxury to have at an event like this.
Yeah, Drew, it's been fun to watch. The owners, I think some of the people that seem to follow this sauna have been getting in and out all day, doing cold plunges in the lake after spending, I don't know, maybe 20 to 30 minutes in that sauna, and I've had some fun watching that.
Yeah, lots of steam coming off of bodies coming out of that sauna. I'm hearing some clapping behind us. I think we've heard quite a few people saying, hey, this is their last lap. They're approaching the finish line here. We're looking forward to see what some of the paces that these people have kept are. And honestly, with the lap, that's kind of short for a mountain bike lap. I would say this is kind of short for a lapped event. I can't tell where anybody's at in the race. I can't tell who's at the front. It's all kind of just amalgamated into one giant line of people coming and going.
Yes. Yeah, the bike event is a tougher event to keep track of, I've noticed. Again, this is one of my first, and when they come by quick, and it's a cold day, so a lot of people are really geared up. It's hard to see some faces. When running, they're not going nearly as fast as those bikers are, and I can only imagine going downhill today. Gearing up is probably very important.
Well, I noticed on the first lap this morning while we were out on course doing some filming, there were some people that, even though they're in the mountain bike race, were doing some running, because once they jammed up, they couldn't pass each other. Everybody was having to get off the bike and walk a little bit. Do things like that happen in a foot race?
More so in the very beginning, and once time goes through, it doesn't seem to be as much of a problem, just because people are really are mainly spread out. There's too much time in between, so you don't have that as much, only in the beginning. So in a bike race, that must be really unfortunate, because then getting off the bike cannot be very fun.
It's not, but it gives you a little bit of motivation to get out there and stay in front of everybody if you have the goal of being in front of that. If not, it can kind of be a welcome thing. Gives you a chance to have a deep breath and keep going. And then about 2 laps in, you kind of have the opposite effect, where the front of the race might catch the back end of it and create the same effect again.
Oh, wow. Yes. Yeah. Getting lapped in the bike is, there's a lot more mechanics and things being dealt with than just passing somebody on the trail. I can only imagine that it starts to get to a little bit of a clog.
Yeah, but it's all part of racing, and it's something that you also have to plan for just as much as you have to plan for your nutrition, your rest, and the training that goes into it.
Yes, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly on that.
So we have a raffle for a Frameworks downhill bike. It was donated by a Frameworks customer back to Frameworks after the storm happened. And Nico Mullally of Frameworks Racing and Pro Racer built the bike up with parts that he had left over from the race season, and they're raffling it off here today at this event right about 5 o'clock, or right about now. I think donations are still going to be open until 5 o'clock, and we're looking forward to see who the winner is.
My name's Colin Islandfelt. I guess you could say I'm a Frameworks fanboy. Followed the project from the beginning and wanted to support it. And so when the frames came up, was able to order a frame, but was never able to build it up. And then when the hurricane came through, seeing the frame sitting there and realizing that it could be put to use to maybe raise some money for Old Fort, thought that would be an elegant use for it. So reached out to the Frameworks guys, and they made it all happen, made it real easy, and it's been a neat thing to be a part of. So appreciate what you've done and helping me help them, right? So.
So we got Colin out here on his bike today. This was his first day riding a downhill bike, and it was really nice of him to offer to donate this thing. The donation is for the Old Fort Strong Fund, which is benefiting individuals and small businesses in Old Fort, North Carolina, which is just 30 minutes up the road. They were one of the hardest hit areas from the hurricane in September. A lot of mudslides just completely destroyed people's homes, and in a lot of cases insurance doesn't cover it. So we're raffling off this bike in $20 tickets. You can buy as many as you want. A $20 entry is one chance to win, and all the proceeds are going to the Old Fort Fund and to those people who lost their homes. The winner's going to be chosen on December 7th. They have an endurance festival in Old Fort to raise money for the Old Fort Strong Fund. So we'll go there with the bike and have it on display, and maybe sell a couple last minute tickets and then donate all the money back to those guys. I think it's so cool that Colin reached out to us with this idea. He asked if we would sign the frame and help spread the word, and I could do him one better by building it up with all the spare parts we had from the season and helping to promote it as well. Sometimes social media drives me crazy, but when you can use it to spread a good word like this and do something that's more effective than just you yourself, I think that's a pretty cool use of it. And yeah, I think for one, Colin supporting us by buying the frame. He's local, he lives 10 minutes from me. As soon as we launched our first bikes for sale, he's not a downhill rider, but he ordered a downhill frame and then didn't put it together, didn't have like the urgency to build it. Things got in the way that he wasn't able to ride it, and had the idea then to donate it back to a good cause. And I think like on multiple levels, that's just so cool that we have people like that in our community, people like that that are supporters of Frameworks.
Welcome, this is Brandon Thrower here. I'm the race director for the Old Fort Strong Endurance Festival, and we're here at Camp Grier. The race is going on. We're about to wrap up the 6-hour event here, and I got my good friend Lisa Jennings here with the U.S. Forest Service, and yeah, say hey.
Hey Brandon, yeah, I'm Lisa Jennings. I'm the Recreation and Trails Manager for the Grandfather Ranger District of Pisgah National Forest, the other Pisgah, which is the backyard here in Old Fort.
That's right, the best Pisgah.
The best Pisgah. Can I say that?
I mean, we have the Linville Gorge, so, you know.
We do, yeah. It's hard to beat Linville Gorge.
Yeah. Obviously, we're out here. We're using a little bit of the forest for this event. Thankfully, some of that has opened. So why don't you give the folks that are listening just some an idea of what's open, what's being planned to open soon, and any trail updates, road updates on the Grandfather District.
Yeah, so as of this week, we fully assessed everything that we can get to on the forest in terms of our trails on the Grandfather District here. And you know, every single trail in the National Forest that we've been on has damage from Hurricane Helene, but it kind of depends on where you are, what that damage is. And so I'll kind of start with a little update in the backyard here of Old Fort. So the race today includes some of the gateway trails, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a good news, bad news story, right? So the gateway trails are great. They only had a few trees down, a little bit of dirt movement. Bad news is the bridge to the gateway trails is flipped over 100 feet down in the middle of Curtis Creek.
Looks kind of cool.
It does look cool unless you wanted to drive into the really nice parking lot that you can go to use the trails. So, you know, we have some work to do there. That's definitely a priority for us to replace that bridge because it also accesses some private land up in Jarrett Creek, and then get that trailhead back in working order to get people out and make those trails accessible again. Once you get a little bit further back, that's where we start to see more damage, more landslides, especially up in the Newberry Creek Valley and up by the campground in Curtis Creek.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit of the good news in the Old Fort backyard on the US 70, Old 70 side.
Yeah, so we were able to open the very popular block of Kitsuma, Bernard Mountain, and Point Lookout. But I say we open it, Point Lookout had 34 landslides on it. Most of them came from above, so we were able to clear off the dirt, but you'll ride through there and there's like 15, 20-foot tall mountains of dirt that you're riding through. So everything we did up there is a temporary fix, but our goal is to get it back open and get people out, because we know being on the National Forest and being on our trails is healing.
Awesome. Any updates for the Heartbreak and Star Gap side of things?
Yeah, Star Gap and original Heartbreak, right? Old school Heartbreak had a ton of trees down on them, and we've actually had Pisgah Sorba coming over and helping G5 cut off some of those trees.
Nice.
We're hoping to open that in the next few weeks. But some of that also depends on road closures. So we're working around DOT, right? Mill Creek Road had a huge amount of damage, and they're running gravel trucks up and down that road every day. And so they're asking us to help keep folks off. And so, it's a lot of considerations, not just the trail conditions, but it's the road conditions in the forest to get to those, and then the DOT and state roads to get to the forest roads. All of that has to interact to be able to open something up.
Yeah. It's still amazing what's been opened up just in this short amount of time, and the fact that we're able to even have this event out on the gateways has just been really great. So I want to just thank you so much to you and your team for getting that open and allowing us to be racing out here this weekend. So I know the two other bigger zones in the grandfather is the Linville Gorge and Wilson Creek. So if you want to give us a little bit of update on what's open, what's closed in Linville Gorge.
Yeah, so Linville Gorge, man, that's a complex puzzle. First of all, because we can't use chainsaws in there, right? This is a federally designated wilderness, no motorized use or mechanical transport. We are using crosscut saws to clear trails in there. I went down and was part of the assessment of Conley Cove Trail. And for example, you get to the bottom of that and there's about 500 feet to the river where your feet don't touch the ground. We're estimating 200 trees and 500 feet of trail. A huge, massive puzzle that we need to solve, and we need to figure out the right tools to do it for the wilderness. The East Rim fared a lot better than the West Rim, so we're able to open Short Off Trail, Table Rock Summit, Hawksbill. That area is great. I mean, there weren't really that many trees on top of Short Off anyway to fall down, right?
Yeah.
But the bad news is the Linville River Trail is kind of gone. I mean, in a lot of places, you'll be walking on the trail and it'll just end in a 30-foot chasm into the river. And so that's going to be a long year fix. We think of some of these areas, it's like about 25% of our trails we were able to open right now. About 50% are moderate damage, and that other 25%, like the Linville Gorge Trail, it's going to be 5+ years because of the complexity of building in these areas. It'll probably include some relocations as well.
Yeah. I was just out on the east rim of the gorge on Short Off a couple weeks ago, and it was great. So it was good to see. And then for people who are thinking about accessing that from a lower spot from the lake, the Blue Dot is also open to the MST there, so it's good. So that section's good. You can get to all the good pretty spots on the east rim.
But the tree's still there. The famous Short Off tree.
The famous Short Off tree is still there somehow.
Yeah.
It made it through. So yeah, give us a little update on Wilson Creek. I know that's a big mountain bike area as well. So.
Yeah, so the mountain bike trails in Wilson Creek actually fared the best of any of ours. We were able to get most of them open up with the help of the Northwest North Carolina Mountain Bike Alliance, who had a huge effort right away helping us assess those and saw them out. Really, the main trail that's still closed is Yancey Ridge. There's a part on the bottom that we lovingly refer to as the Promised Land, and we had just some huge oaks fall down that the root balls tore up the trail. Working on some plans to basically grip hoist them off the trail. So it's a little more complex than just cutting trees off. And that's where we run into some of these, that'll be a midterm closure, just getting the work organized and getting it out there. But what we don't want is people going on those trails, getting speed, and then running into a giant root ball around a blind corner. So that one is still closed.
And how did the hiking trails, like in the wilderness studies
predictably, the trails along the creeks did not fare so well.
Yeah.
So Harper Creek Trail and Lost Cove Creek Trail are some of those trails, kind of like Linville Gorge. They're just gone in places, right? They were crossing the creek a lot, sent folks in there. Like, we couldn't even actually get to the middle of Harper Creek because it was just a sheer cliff. Landslides, that kind of thing. But a lot of the hiking trails to the views are still good, Big and Little Lost Cove Cliffs, and we're working basically to clear up loop options in there so that folks can hike and run some loops without getting into trouble.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I know we have the Woods Mountain area, but I think there's a forest fire over there now. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, any update on Woods Mountain?
Yeah, I mean, Woods Mountain was pretty okay. It's got some trees down, and that's one that we're working on, plan for in-house. I did just want to give a shout out to my crew. You know, we've had a long-running trail crew on the Grandfather Ranger District, and they are the reason, you know, along with our partners, that we were able to open 85 miles of trails now, and that we fully assessed all of our trails. It's a huge amount of effort, and those folks have been climbing over trees and landslides, and I'm just really proud of them and proud to be a part of the Grandfather District. So.
Well, we here at Tonawah really appreciate everything the Forest Service does, and we're, you know, just enjoy the partnership and relationship that we've built with y'all over the years. So just happy to have awesome land managers to partner with. So thank you for being here and giving everybody an update.
Hey, glad to support, and this event's awesome. You know, it's great to have events on the forest. That's how people get to know these woods, especially brings out a lot of people who might not know these trails. So
exactly.
It all works together.
Yeah, that's our hope. Run, inspire, conserve, and today ride, inspire, conserve. So, yeah. All right. Well, thank y'all. We'll see you later.
All right, and we're back. We're waiting for these 6-hour finishers to finish, which will happen right about 4 o'clock. In the meantime, we've just been chatting about bike racing and foot racing here in the Old Fort area. And we're going to have a couple montages here for you guys to watch in just a few minutes. We're going to have about 9 minutes worth of the foot race footage that you're going to see. And then after that, about the same amount of time, we're going to see some bike footage.
Yeah, Drew, looking forward to that footage. It's going to really portray the course, show you the climbs, the turns. These are 2 different courses. The running is a 4-mile course, and the biking is about a 7-some-mile course. So it's 2 different parts of the camp and into the Pisgah National Forest. So it'd be really interesting to see that footage. And as Drew was saying, we're standing here, and it is about 8 minutes less to go for the 6-hour. Been very inspiring to see these people out here and doing this hard endurance event like this on a not easy terrain. So witnessing this first portion to come to a close is really nice. And kudos to the people who are doing the 12 and the 24, because that is not a normal day.
Especially here as the temperatures fall. It's starting to get dark. People are going to have to start mounting their lights up, maybe even getting into a warmer change of clothes for these evening laps. On the foot race side of things, what kind of things would you do to prepare for the cold temperatures?
Yeah, layering as the night comes is going to be your most important thing to do, because getting into these later hours, you're going to find yourself hiking a lot more, moving a little bit slower, and that's going to require more clothes, better preparation when it comes to hydrating and fueling, because the more work your body has to do to keep itself warm, the less ability you are to trot on through. As far as for the mountain biking, I would imagine apparel is increased.
Absolutely, yeah. There's any manner of things that you would do, knee warmers, things to cover your ears, a vest to keep your core temperature up as much as possible and seal that core temperature in as much as possible. But yeah, calories. I mean, like you just said, you got to fuel for it. You can't generate heat with your body if you don't have calories to burn, and burn them they will overnight. People use things like embrocation to keep joints warm and things like that as time goes. For me, my strategy was always to definitely take care of my joints, but also my hands and my feet.
Yeah.
So once you lose feeling in those things, you can't shift gears. It's harder to stay on the pedals and things like that.
Yeah, I would say the taking care of your feet is very important when it comes to the foot race as well. It's time to change your shoes and your socks. Keep track of stuff like that, because the better your feet and their condition is in these later hours, the more likely you are to continue on and not make excuses.
That's right. What kind of excuses would you use in a situation like that where you didn't have the right footwear?
I hear a lot of people say that they're going to quit it for blisters. And, I say there's two things I hate, chafing and bonking. And I would say blisters count as chafing. And it's a great reason to give up, especially in a race like this where you're very close to your vehicle. It can make it a decision that is not too hard to make.
Right. A lot of these people's vehicles are also their campsites for the overnight race as well, and that might not be a whole lot more comforting as these temperatures drop.
Yes. It's a fast degrees going. I believe we've started the video now of our run, and this is the beginning of the run where they are taking down the very beginning road. All the racers head down this road to actually span out, and then they'll hit the single track afterwards in order to get everybody moved away and a little bit easier to follow on the single track.
So that looks like a pretty solid spread out there. It doesn't look too jammed up. It looks like are the racers let off in waves here?
I actually don't think so. I believe everybody went at once. Yes, I witnessed the beginning. Yeah, everybody went at the very beginning of the banjo being played.
Okay.
Our race director, he is a banjo player, and that's how he starts all of his races for ultra running. So the banjo started both the bikers and the runners.
That has a nice down-home feel versus a start pistol.
That's correct. I agree. That's a great way to put it. This is a great footage where you can see that Camp Grier's got a beautiful lake that we have the start-finish aid station. Basically, this whole entire camp kind of surrounds about this lake. So this is where everybody starts right next to the lake. And it's a great part of the camp. You've got canoes, stand-up paddles. There used to be a rope swing. It went down a little bit ago. It's a very fun lake to play on, and even racers that are so bold and maybe want to take a dip afterwards can do so. As we were talking about the sauna that's available here at the race, we've seen some people taking the sauna break and then jumping into the lake.
Well, taking a dip for me would be a summertime activity, sauna or not.
Yes, I'd imagine those temps of the water probably 50s, and that's not very comfortable.
No. So mixed terrain here. We're seeing a lot of feet on some gravel, and then they're going to go onto some single track. What bearing does this have on the types of shoes or equipment people are going to choose to use?
Yeah, this is a race that is mostly single track, a little bit of gravel road. For a shoe perspective, most people are wearing a trail shoe, which is designed mostly for uneven terrain, muddy, rocky conditions.
Okay.
Their tread is going to be a little bit more aggressive in order to handle some of the sloppier terrain, and the upper is a little bit heavier built in order to hold onto the foot better rather than some of the road shoes out there that are designed for straight.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yes, I would say that there's a shoe version for bikes. What exactly tire-wise are you looking at?
I think for a course like this, and for the fact that it is a race and not just going out for a jolly old ride, I think most racers are going to choose a tire that's got pretty low rolling resistance. Even though this is mountain biking and it is in the mountains, the course is pretty well suited for keeping the pace high in racing, meaning there's not going to be a ton of big root gardens or rock gardens out here where a gnarlier tread be a big advancement. I think the biggest consideration I would have taken would be for the fact that after the first lap, after the freeze thaw starts to thaw, it gets a little mucky out there.
Yes. Yeah, you can see a single track like this where these runners are taking on. It's a red clay. There's sections where frost comes in and you get mud pits, and that happens within a couple hours of running when the temperatures rise. But you can tell this is hardy single track, built to last. A lot of these trails survive tremendous amounts of water, and it's really nice to see these what we're witnessing right now, which are very brand new trails, have endured something like Hurricane Helene, and just seeing people like these folks hiking up these hills and really putting on a really good show for an endurance race. It's nice to see.
That's right. We can't fail to thank the trail crew here at Camp Grier for the amazing amount of work they've done, and also they've brought in Mike Thomas. Shout out to Moto Mike for the trail work that he's done here. Keep everything flowing and working the way it should, and just, making the trail to where weather doesn't allow it to fall apart.
Yeah, it's a huge portion of this area to make sure that these trails are well built and can endure mountain bikes and trail runners and all kinds of equestrian. A very important factor for the hobbies and passions people have in this area. It makes a big difference. And watching these runners take on this trail and really have a sense of pride is nice to see. Got a lot of locals that are out here from the running community. Being more acquainted with this side, I recognize a lot of faces out there. So it's really good to see that. On the mountain biking side, I would imagine you are having a similar situation.
Yeah, very much the same. No doubt we have a huge mountain biking community here. But a lot of the people that you see that are racing, the mountain bike race community does have a little bit of a differentiation. There's not just people from, maybe the Pisgah area that you would recognize, but people from the Blue Ridge area. We see a lot of people that on the competitive side of things that come from like Roanoke, Virginia, and Eastern Tennessee and places like that as well.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I can tell you right now, just watching this video, I see people from Raleigh, a lot of the East Coast that come out here for a lot of other races and are supporting the area because they know how special it is for them to come and join something like this and be familiar with the amount of good it goes towards this area. So it's good to see something like this video and show a great portion of runners out there that are not just local but also from a distance away that come and enjoy it.
Right, yeah. Hopefully we get a chance to see what the results look like here pretty soon, because I'd like to also see on the results sheet where some of these people are coming in from.
Yes, I agree. That would be a great situation. Also, the amount of female to male runners has been very 50-50, which is a great thing to see at a trail race, ultra race like this on the running side. So really great to see something like that and how those stats add up.
For sure. It's such a great event, and it's a great pastime and way to stay in shape. I've noticed, at least in my neighborhood, people go running as a family now.
Yes, and having annual events like this is a great way to keep in shape and have a reason and stick to what you love. So, it's great to see something like this and it take on for the years to come.
Another thing that I'm envious of the running community for is the investment into equipment is a lot friendlier.
Yes, that is a very good point. That's what lured me towards trail running is, one, the longer it takes to be out there, the less it's based off of your fitness and also based off your stubbornness. But and also the fact that gear is a lot less needed.
And that was our running montage. I hope you guys had as much fun watching it as we did. Thanks for all of the information there. There's a lot of questions that I think most of us from the mountain bike community maybe just don't know about the foot race side of things.
Yes, and it's always, again, today has been very entertaining on watching this mountain bike race. The pace that these guys and females are going through, the main aid station / finish start line has been really entertaining because being on just a stationary spot and seeing something like that is pretty phenomenal. I believe we just started the video for the mountain bike side.
Yeah.
This seems to be the start.
So our mountain bike event participants, they took off in the opposite direction of the people in the foot race.
Drew, when starting a race like this, what's important when the banjo goes off?
Well, when the banjo goes off, you want to make, well, I mean, it depends on what your goal is, right? There's some people here who their goal is to cross the line in first place, take home the victory. There's also a lot of participants here that are here to raise money for this community. And, what your goal is, if you're trying to win this race, you've got to get out in front of everybody. You've got to be a pace setter. You can't just kind of sit around and hang on and wait for somebody else to make the move. You've got to be the one willing to do it, whether you have to or not.
Difficulties on the starting. Is it arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder sometimes? Obviously, with the video we're seeing, nobody's being super aggressive. I would say this is a pretty beneficial to the people event, not the championship of something. But in general sense, taking on a hard downhill like this in the beginning and trying to get into a primary position.
Yeah, I mean, what you got to realize, it was also really cold when they took off too. So, if you're banging bars right off the get-go, it's you're not warmed up quite enough ready for that. Maybe in a different season of the year, you might see a little bit different there. Or if you see one of the other events that happen here in Old Fort, like the ORAM that happens in the middle of the summer, that's got a pretty aggressive takeoff from the beginning. You've got a lot of road to be the first people into the single track. Here it's, you can get into the single track pretty easy. But then you've also got people that are just trying to make a pace, and you don't want to blow it up right off the get-go. So if you're not one of these people trying to get a podium position here, you got to keep some gas in the tank, and you just want a good, safe, metered, and measured start.
So just noticing the trail, a lot of this trail is newly built. I see a lot of camber. I see a lot of rolling wider, a little bit wider than some of the single track that the runners took today. Would you say there's a little bit more difference between a mountain bike trail and a maybe single track running trail in this area?
There can be differences for sure. A lot of, like you're seeing, a lot of these turns are built to keep a racer in the apex of the turn and not have to lose too much speed as you go through those turns. Now, some of the tighter single track stuff is, in my opinion, maybe more fun to ride, but is not really conducive to racing as much. But yeah, a lot of this freshly benched in stuff that you're seeing, it's meant, you've got rollers there. That's so that you can maybe pump and keep some momentum without having to pedal.
Yes.
And, keeping these uphill apex turns like you're seeing right there, that's so you don't necessarily have to dump all your gears down, and you can keep the cadence that you're trying to pedal the same.
I see. Yes, it seems like the last thing you really want to do is get off your bike, but I think you also have mentioned that it's a pleasant moment sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need a good excuse to get off and take a deep breath.
Yes, that makes sense. We had a biker come in earlier that was looking for a mechanic. I believe there is a mechanic station somewhere in the bike community. She was complaining because she had to get off the bike to walk the hills, something with the chain. How often have you had that happen to you?
More than I would like to admit. I mean, you got a lot of moving parts on a bike. It's not just as simple as tying your shoes. And even your shoes can be a problem if your cleats aren't tightened down in the right place. But, yeah, I think the common things that you're going to see in a mountain bike race that can cause you to need to go into the pits would be obviously a flat tire. Now with today's tubeless technology and tires, it's not as common, but it can happen. But, yeah, if, you nervously shift your chain and you drop your chain off and it gets stuck between your chain ring and your bottom bracket, that's also something you don't want to happen when you are racing.
Yes, yeah. We have shoelaces untied and forgot the gel, and more often than not, sometimes your batteries and your headlamp go bad. But mechanical issues are limited in the foot race area.
And nowadays, you talk about batteries in the headlamp. A lot of bikes now are equipped with electronic shifting. So there's another battery to have to remember to charge.
Yes.
I'd like to think most people participating in a race are wise enough to charge that the night before and not risk that. But, it's definitely happened.
On a 24-hour event, I would imagine you'd need extra batteries for something like that.
Generally, today's electronic shifting, the battery life is pretty good. You can usually get multiple weeks. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that would not be a concern, but I
can see why you would forget it, though.
Yeah. I would not go to an endurance event without spares.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah, that's important.
The risk-benefit analysis there tells me that you want to have a spare.
Yes, yeah. And what do those usually run, if I could ask?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I'm still analog. I still have cables on my
good
bike.
For you. The simpler version I just find might work the best.
A little bit of a Luddite, and I also don't race bikes any longer. So
okay. Yes, I have a friend that he is known to forget to charge those and is in single gear for the rest of the ride, if I believe so.
Yeah, we have a few people out here that are riding single-speed bikes on purpose.
Yes, I admire that. I think that is quite the grind. It seems like a very monumental thing to do.
It's a lot of fun. You got a couple things you got to think about. You have to gear for the climb, but you also have to gear for the descent as well. You don't want to be stuck with one gear that doesn't do either thing at least mediocre.
So you're selecting your gear before the race?
Yes.
I see. That's a stress level on that. I see. And would you say it expends more energy?
Not if you do it right. So this course has more undulation. There's not a ton of sustained climbing.
Okay.
So I think you'd be able to choose a more moderate gear so that in the flatter and even descendy sections you could still crank and not be freewheeling. But you're not going to have to sit and climb in one gear for, a half hour at a time, which can happen in some of the other events that happen here in Old Fort.
Yes. I've also noticed a range of bikes. I've seen fat tires out there, or bigger tires. I've seen handles that look like they are on road bikes. I believe they're called underhandles.
Drop bar would be the general term. But, yeah, there's some people riding gravel bikes or cyclocross-style bikes out here. And a good race course kind of should allow for that.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's really nice to see a wide range.
And here, as we're ending up this mountain bike montage, we're getting a little bit closer to the end of the 6-hour event here, and hopefully we'll have some results for you pretty soon.
Stephanie, good to see you again.
Yeah, these climbs are insane. 1,200 feet is what I heard on this bike course.
Yeah, 1,200 feet over about 7 miles is about proper for a race course, I would say.
Yeah, the downhills, I can only imagine, it's got to be the most fun.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to earn the climb.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to earn the descent by doing the climb, and that's what we're all here for.
Going to.
Yeah, howdy. How's everybody doing? Old Fort, yeah. Awesome. We're looking good out there, guys. Thank you for powering through and pushing for a great cause. Old Fort strong. So here we go. My name's Hunter Begley, and I'm a local songwriter, and this song's called Falling Down. Sometimes I wish life weren't such a struggle. Sometimes I wish I could ease my own pain. Sometimes I'm really not sure if it's the sun or the rain I'm standing in. But I can feel it all getting harder. Maybe it's God's patience that broke. Maybe he is just a kid having fun running sticks between the spokes. Like the beautiful dance of a leaf falling towards the ground. I'm falling down. Folks say, don't you go changing. That saying's wasted on me. And every day I'll find a different person that I could be. Today I'll just stay wasted. I'm awake and alive and I'm free. After all these years and these beers, what's the point standing up for anything? Like an old broken home left alone on the edge of town. I'm falling down. I have a tendency to get poetic. Maybe that's the point of it all. We focus our eyes on the rise and miss the beauty in the fall. I'm not saying I'm rushing dying. Who in their right mind wants to die? I will not neglect. I have much respect for the price we pay to fly. The beautiful dance of a leaf falling towards the ground. Like an old broken home left alone on the edge of town. Or like a snowflake lands without understanding how. I'm falling down. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we got Yellow Jackets out in December. What is this? It's a wild and woolly world out there, folks. Right? And they say they hibernate. Do they? Does they? All right. I'm going to keep on rolling here, as Limp Bizkit would say. This is Deep Pockets, and it's a song about being out and making your money on the street, you know, because everybody's got to do that from time to time. So here we go. Living room in the morning, it's the dining room at night. The sun takes all of my working time. It's been that way all of my life. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets for nothing. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets at all. I pawn a wedding ring for $1 bill. No love is lost if I get my fill. Deep pockets, They don't call me deep pockets for nothing. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets at all. Breaking up dirt in the springtime, picking up the last in the fall. I make what I can from the skin and the rind. They don't call me deep pockets at all. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets for nothing. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets at all. I pawn a wedding ring for $1 bill. No love is lost if I get my fill. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets for nothing. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets at all. A dirty street and a guitar. I play it one meal at a time. I make a couple dollars and walk on, man. There's room for the next one in line. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets for nothing. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets at all, at all, at all. I pawn a wedding ring for $1 bill. No love is lost if I get my fill. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets for nothing. Deep pockets, they don't call me deep pockets, call me deep pockets, call me deep pockets. Don't call me deep pockets, call me deep pockets, call me deep pockets, call me deep pockets at all. They don't call me deep pockets at all. All right. Yeah, sweet. Thank you. Oh, no.
All right, here we got Nick Bragg giving us a little course preview on the GoPro. Nick Bragg, if you're not familiar with that name, oh yeah, he's getting the throat cleared, putting it down hard on this course. Right here, we got a new section of cut trail that comes up
sucks.
from
You can't see
camp.
this, but it's so hell.
Yeah, it's pretty challenging. Oh,
Wow, my chain has dust coming off of it. My bike feels like 20 pounds heavier.
yeah. From what we've heard from a lot of the racers out there today, was as the course thawed out. You know, this one thing we talk about a lot is freeze thaw conditions, and this is one of those scenarios where, you know, course started out frozen. As it thawed out, started getting that peanut buttery.
They are. On your left, nice work. I love the heart thing.
Oh, thanks.
Racer meeting, I would know. I don't know if it has to be started by 4 or in at 4. I hope it's in at 4. No. Yeah. Because that would mean I get to do one less lap. That'd be nice. Whew. I love a turn with decreasing berm support. I'm not going to say I have these turns dialed, but I've done them a few times now. Less brakes, less brakes. No brakes. This one is a little wet in weird places. This corner I always fuck up. Not this time, not this time, not this time. Yeah.
Pardon for the language, racing can be a little aggressive.
Straight across. This is a section that's like still frozen. So it's fast. Woohoo! Man, I'm so glad I'm not doing the 12-hour. Should have used no brakes on that corner. No brakes, no brakes, no brakes! If nothing else, the GoPro has given me someone or something to talk to. It's kind of nice.
Nick, we love having you talk to us.
I always feel so fucking slow in that corner. I should eat something, but I'm not going to. That's how racing goes. I should really do this for myself. It would be good, in my best interest. Nope. Why does bonking happen? Ooh. Try to do a little skid, ran out of talent. It happens. Ooh. Hello. On your left. Cool, thanks, man. Oh my God, is my chain about to fucking fall apart? Feels like it. I ran a wax chain, I don't need it. Don't crash, don't crash. Skirt! E-brake, throttle. Oh, wasn't clipped in. Shit on this bridge. Okay, good. Hey guys. Hey guys.
All right, we're going to be kicking it over to awards here in just a moment.
Back.
We got David Stiles giving us a beautiful drone shot over there of the running village.
Here we go. We are going to announce the 6-hour run and 6-hour ride together. We're going to start with third place and go up from there. So we'll start with our female third place winners in the 6-hour run. In third place, we have Erin McKee. Erin McKee, she did 7 laps. So Erin McKee, if you're up here or here, come on up. And stay on the stage. Stay on the stage. We want to get everyone who podiumed in the 6-hour on both events up here. And you can just stand behind here. All right. In the ride portion, in the bike race, in third place in the 6-hour, Rose Lane with 5 laps. And while we're waiting for Rose to get up here, I want to thank the Hub, Mountain Running Company, and
Breakthrough
Performance for providing some gift certificates for our podium winners. And then we also want to thank J.I. Woodworks, Jonathan Ibach Woodworks. He's a local runner of Asheville. He has won Hellbender, and one time he's pretty cool guy, and he makes wooden awards. So first place, you're getting a handmade award from Jonathan Ibach. All right. So, not seeing Rose yet, so I'm going to go ahead and go to our male winners in third place. Third place run, male, Will Keller with 9 laps. Will Keller. Third place ride with 7 laps, Jeremiah Bishop. So Jeremiah, if you're here, come on up. And make sure you make a path for the runners, please. Leave a path for 12 hours and 24s. Woo! All right, again, Jeremiah Bishop, if you hear it, come on up here, get your prize. All right. We're going to go ahead and go to second place in the 6 hour for Run and Rod female. Second place, which was pretty much a tie with first place, but she was off by like 1/100 of a second. So Marissa Romeo. Tori said she was going to share first place with her. Third place in the ride, Jenna Dunham. That was second place, sorry. Second place. All right, second place male in the run, Brandon Cruz. Brandon Cruz. And second place in the ride, Gus Michaels. Gus Michaels. All right, we're moving on to first place. First place, female in the 6 hour run, Tori Greaves. 9 laps. That is 32 miles. Woo. All right, first female in the ride, 6 hour ride, is Sarah Griffith with 6 laps. Sarah Griffith. Alrighty, in our first place male in the 6 hour run, Robbie Harms. 9 laps for Robbie. In 5 hours and 20 minutes, I think. I think he had enough time to do 10. All right, and our first place male in the 6 hour ride, Nick Bragg. Nick Bragg. Round of applause for all these people up here.
We got some fundraising updates. So, some winners who crossed the $5,000 and $10,000 marks in the 6 hour race. So we've got 5 of them. So awesome job crossing the 10,000 first. Like a couple weeks ago was Ryan Thompson. If Ryan Thompson is here, he crossed the 10,000 mark. Somerville Johnson also crossed the 10,000 mark. Somerville, we've got some swag here for you from our sponsors and some sweet prizes. And then crossing the 5,000 mark, we've got Sarah Gillum. Woo! We've got Chip Craig cross the $5,000 mark. And we've got Jen Hostler that crossed the $5,000 mark in the 6 hour. Come on up, y'all.
Yeah, we got Gus Michaels there in second, Nick Bragg there in third and first. So congrats, dudes.
All right, the next thing we're going to do is the long-awaited raffle prizes. Raffle prizes. So, Sarah's, I'm going to pull them out. Oh. And you can pick up your raffle prizes at the Hemlock Dining Hall. That was where check-in was yesterday. That's where you can get some beer if you haven't gotten beer yet as well. So if you're looking for beer, beer sales are up there at the dining hall. Come on, hang out, party, cheer these 12-hour runners in until 10 p.m. For those of you who are even crazier, stay for the whole 24 hours. All right. So we're starting off with a raffle prize for lodging. So we've got all right. So the first raffle lodging winner will get a 2-night stay at Treetop Hideaway in Treehouse in the Treetop Hideaway, which is a treehouse in Marion. And that person is Bhushan Suresh. Bhushan Suresh. All right, and the next one is a 2-night stay in Indigo Nature Retreat in Old Fort, North Carolina, which is in Newberry, on Newberry Creek. Luckily, they were spared from the worst of the storm, and they will be opening back up very soon. And the winner for the 2-night stay at Indigo Retreat is Catherine Pearson. Catherine Pearson. Trying to mix these up each time. All right. Now the last one is a 5-night stay at Mountain Time Memories, which is a 4-bedroom cabin in Old Fort. It's a whole week. It's a whole vacation right there. And the winner of this one is Allison Hanna. Allison Hanna, or Hanan. Alyssa Hanan, sorry. Alyssa Hanan is our winner for the 5-night stay at Mountain Time Memories. All right. On to the next raffle. This raffle is from La Sportiva. La Sportiva. So La Sportiva is a regular sponsor for Tanawa events. They've been with us for a long time, and we're happy to continue that relationship with these guys. And they have provided us with a few articles of clothing that are pretty awesome. So we got 2 men's Cosmic Thermal hoodies. 2 men's Cosmic Thermal hoodies. The first winner of the first hoodie is Keith Jackson. Keith Jackson. Keith Jackson. And the winner of the second hoodie is Justin McLam. Justin McLam. All right, our next La Sportiva giveaway is a men's Crest Evo Shell jacket. Size medium. There's only one winner for this one, and that winner is Daniel Stinson. Daniel Stinson. And our last prize is a pair of men's Crest Echo Shell pants. One winner for this one. Taylor Thompson. Taylor Thompson. Next raffle prize comes from Fox Factory. So for Fox, we've got 2 winners, or 2 gift certificates. 2 gift certificates. Yeah, 2 winners. The first gift certificate will go to
I know you're super cold,
Yeah,
man.
how's it going? Oh, you're fine.
Stephanie Pearson. Stephanie Pearson. Gift certificate to Fox Factory. And our second winner will get a fork of their choice. Is Rebecca Henderson.
Hello, everybody. I'm here with Robbie Harms, the winner of the 6-hour foot race here at Old Fort Strong, Old Fort Endurance Race. Robbie, you look strong the entire day. Great conditions. It started a little bit cold, got a little bit warm, and then back to cold again. Yeah. Tell me your experience through this race and how you feel you performed.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the conditions could not have been any better. Little chilly at the start, but then sun came up over the mountain, and probably for the majority of the race, it was super nice. Yeah, and then I think my goal coming in was anywhere probably between 9 or 10 laps. Yeah, I ended up with 9 and getting the win, which is a great day. So I was pretty happy with it. Yeah, it's a fantastic race.
Now, since this is a 6, a 12, and a 24-hour, was there any confusion, or did you kind of figure out as you were going who you were against and the possibilities of somebody running maybe a longer distance and dropping at the last minute?
Yeah, exactly. So there was probably a group of like 4 or 5 of us kind of at the start, and we were all chatting and figured out that we were all running the 6-hour race. So we kind of all knew who was in the lead pack. It was awesome. It was just super cool seeing all the runners from all the different races on the trail. It's the most runners I've ever passed in a race, just because there was so many running different distances, and that was super cool to see them. They were super encouraging, and at the beginning I was also trying to encourage them, but then toward the end I was very tight-lipped because I was just trying to keep putting one foot in front of the next.
Yes, these hour races, they are a social race just as much as they are a competitive race. So you're cheering people on, you're passing them with joy. Some people are passing you sometimes. So it's good to see that it's a well-taken event and something that you can really enjoy and still come out as a victor, put on a good performance. On a rate of 1 through 10, tell me how hard this loop was.
It was more difficult than expected. I would say probably a 7 or 8, where I was maybe expecting like a 6 or so. There was like the original climb, the first climb was tough. But I think I kind of expected that. The one that kept getting me was the second one. It's like a really short, punchy, like quarter-mile climb, and that was the one that just kept wrecking me and several others around me every time we went up it. But yeah, tried to run that at first, and then toward the last few loops ended up just kind of power hiking it. But yeah, it was like super flowy, super runnable, not very technical. There was some good leaf coverage on the ground, so it made it a little bit slick. But other than that, I fell once, but that was because of a route that I didn't see, and I wasn't picking my legs up high enough. But it was like beautiful course, absolutely like stunning views in the mountains as well. So it was an awesome day.
Took a face plant.
I luckily didn't fall on my face. I caught myself with my hand, and it was like one of the smoothest sections of the course, which is of course like exactly when that happens. Always.
600 feet 9 times, 8 times, 9 times.
I did 9. Yeah.
9 times. Yeah. That's very impressive, yeah. Robbie. I very inspired. As far as the event and just what's come on from this area, where are you from, Robbie?
I'm originally from Florida, but we've lived in South Africa for the past 7 years.
Okay, so very affected by this hurricane.
Yeah, luckily, like our house was relatively unscathed, but I know several people who are obviously way more affected. So yeah, I think the real victory today is that we all came together and raised a lot of money for an awesome mountain community. Because it's just when I heard about this, I was like, this is exactly what I can do and what I love running and wanted to help out, and I think this kind of merged those two passions like very well.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see all these people come together and put forth a lot of effort for something like this. This is the award for the event. This is made by my good friend Jonathan Eibach. He's a great woodworker.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was amazed. It's just I don't know if the camera will see it, but it is. Yeah, it's very stunning piece of work, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to put it in my classroom.
Yes, the main emblem is the arrowhead at the top. That is the arrowhead that is in the center of the town of Old Fort. Okay. And he did a great rendition of it. It's really important to see that and know that Old Fort is surviving well with something like this and really putting forth an effort to better the running community and the community that's been affected by this, the town of Old Fort itself. So, Robbie, great work out there. What's your next race?
That's a great question. I actually haven't had too much time to plan on that. I was supposed to run a shut-in a couple months ago or last month, but that got canceled. So when I saw this pop up, I immediately signed up like the day it opened. And then probably run a spring, either 50K or marathon. So yeah.
Okay, so you're thinking you're an ultra guy. You're gonna stick to ultras and shut in. Very, very sad story with that. Hopefully that is not the last of shut in. Really, really excited if it comes back. Do you do most of your training in this or the Pisgah area then?
Yeah, a lot of Bent Creek runs, and then I'm a teacher, so I actually run before school a lot, like around this like loop where our school is close to. So a lot of mixture of road and trail.
What time do you start that run?
Usually like right around 6, a little before if I'm going longer, and if not, maybe like 6:15. Yeah.
A little bit difficult with this cold weather in?
It's been cold.
Yes, it has. Well, that's great that you get out there and you're educating the kids, and that's fantastic that you can join in on this. You stay well trained. It's important to have that inspiration and people really pushing that running community. With the competition today, were you in the lead most of the time, or did you have people that followed in your steps at all?
There were probably like a pack of 4 of us, probably like 3.5, 4 hours in on the climb, and then we kind of separated a little bit, and then ended up being me and the second place guy Brandon, who we kind of were battling all day, and then I think I passed him right before the 9th lap started, but he was a great runner, great guy, and it was just awesome to race against him.
Did you say you passed him on the 9th lap?
Right before we started the 9th lap. Yeah.
Wow, that is impressive. That is a very hard duel. Yeah, to run with a group of 4 for 3.5 to 4 hours is quite impressive. I mean, sometimes I like to just go to the bathroom so that I'm not around them anymore, but to just, endure and have to compete with guys like that, that's really impressive. And then for it to come down to a final race with 1 lap to go and you to endure. And did you feel like you had to look over your shoulder the entire last lap?
I kept glancing back to see, just to see if I needed to push it a little bit more. And the crazy part of this race too is like you didn't know if I didn't know if I won because I didn't know if he was going to try to go for another lap. I finished it at 5:25, and I knew that I wasn't going to run another lap in 35 minutes because I would average like a 40-minute loop all day, and then that last lap was like 35 minutes, but I was really pushing it, and I kind of told myself like, all right, that's it. Also was like kind of ran out of the 8 I brought, and I was like, I'm just full sending this last lap and making a 9-loop race and hoping that no one tries to do a 10th one before 4 p.m.
Yeah, no, that's impressive. And to know when you can say I'm done and I don't have my competition can't get past me on that, that's a reasonable way to go. It's challenging when you come in here and you know that you can do that. That's impressive that you finished your last lap with the 35-minute mark after averaging 40. So you must have been hustling for that, that amount.
Yeah, I had kind of like basically told myself, all right, this is it, and put the AirPods in. And it was just like, all right, I'm just going for it, and then hopefully we'll finish this with not enough time for someone else to complete another one.
Well, congrats, Robbie.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. Yeah, you too.
Taking a look here at the vendor village. Huge shout out to all these vendors that showed up, providing prizes for raffles, support for athletes. Here's the Frameworks Racing rig that will be getting raffled off later. Been watching lots of athletes go from the sauna house here to jumping into the lake. Pretty wild to see. Got our friends over here at Solomon. They let me demo some shoes earlier. Nice and comfy. Got Run 828. Lots of awesome people out here helping support this event.
All right, here we are with the 6-hour mountain bike race winner, Nick Bragg. Nick, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
It's kind of cold out here, huh?
It's not cold.
All right, so tell me about the cold now versus the cold this morning when the race started.
Right now I can feel my hands.
That's good.
So that's pretty sweet. The cold now, it's more palatable because we're done.
Right.
And there's less shaking. Yeah.
That's good. So what do you do to prepare for the cold on a day like today when it's going to also warm up to near 50?
Keep my house really cold because I'm a cheap ass.
I love that answer. And I'm sorry for your furnace. But yeah, so congratulations on the win. Do you have any idea what your pledge is totaled to?
I think it was like 1,700 or so, something like that, 17,
Nice.
1,800. So yeah, I'm really excited. Like
Cool.
it's like a race like this is interesting because you still get in like the racer mindset where you're like race, but at the end of the day, it's like raising the money is what really counts, you know? Yeah.
Totally, and we're super grateful for your effort and also for the pledges that you raised.
Cool, thanks.
Well, what's next for Nick Bragg and mountain bike racing?
Next year? I mean, like this is like racing in December is like weird, you know?
Right.
Like I was driving here this morning, like this, like I'm racing today. It's cold, you know, and like anyway. Next year, just think about next year. I think this coming week I'm gonna start running.
Awesome.
It's weird.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Thank you for coming out and participating in Old Fort Strong, and happy holidays.
Cool. Thanks. See you guys.
Huge thanks to our 6-hour male winner, Nick Bragg, doing this GoPro lap for us. He's doing a little shuffle action.
I don't know how far back they are. On your left, nice work. I love the heart thing.
Oh, thanks.
Racer meeting, I would know. I don't know if it has to be started by 4 or in at 4. I hope it's in at 4. No. Yeah. Because that would mean I get to do one less lap. That'd be nice.
Nick's commentary when he's on course, talking to all of us here at home.
I love a turn with decreasing berm support. I'm not going to say I have these turns dialed, but I've done them a few times now. Less brakes, less brakes. No brakes. This one is a little wet in weird places. This corner I always fuck up. Not this time, not this time, not this time. Yeah. Straight across. This is a section that's like still frozen. So it's fast. Woohoo! Man, I'm so glad I'm not doing the 12-hour. Should have used no brakes on that corner. brakes, no brakes, no brakes.
Nick scooting through there. No braking. White knuckle.
If nothing else, the GoPro has given me someone or something to talk to. It's kind of nice. I always feel so fucking slow in that corner. I should eat something, but I'm not going to. That's how racing goes. I should really do this for myself. It would be good, in my best interest. Nope. Why does bonking happen? Ooh. Woo. Try to do a little skid. Ran out of talent. It happens. Ooh. Hello. On your left. Cool, thanks, man.
Nick ripping on that left pass. It's a sweet hard left turn.
Oh my god, is my chain about to fucking fall apart? Feels like it. I ran a wax chain, I don't need it. Don't crash, don't crash. Skirt! E-brake, throttle. Oh, wasn't clipped in.
All right, welcome back to the Old Fort Strong live feed here. We have some results. Sean, you want to read through the running results there?
Yeah, it was a hard-fought race this year, and we've got both the ladies and the men's results. For the men, we start at Robbie Harms came in first with 9 laps, and he finished, I believe, about 25 minutes to go, 30 minutes to go. Brandon Cruz also finished with 9 laps and finished just a few minutes after Robbie Harms. And to finish it out, it was Will Keller. On the female side, first place was Tori Greaves, and second place was Marissa Romeo. Those two ran together the entire race.
Wow.
So it was very impressive to see them both battle it out. And in third place was Erin McGee. She had 7 laps. Both Tori and Marissa managed to get 9, and the third place, Erin McGee, managed to get 7. So it was a really hard-fought race. On to the cycling.
Yeah, so the men's results for the 6-hour mountain bike here. In first place, Nick Bragg with 7 laps. Second place, Gus Michaels with 7 laps. And in third place, Jeremiah Bishop, who is a card-carrying endurance racing legend with 7 laps. And on to the women's results, Sarah Griffith with 6 laps. Jenna Durham with 5 laps. And Rose Lane in third place with 5 laps.
All right, stand by as we get ready to link up with Nico Malali to do Frameworks drawing for the raffle.
My name's Colin Islandfelt. I guess you could say I'm a Frameworks fanboy. Followed the project from the beginning and wanted to support it. And so when the frames came up, was able to order a frame, but was never able to build it up. And then when the hurricane came through, seeing the frame sitting there and realizing that it could be put to use to maybe raise some money for Old Fort, thought that would be an elegant use for it. So reached out to the Frameworks guys and they made it all happen, made it real easy, and it's been a neat thing to be a part of. So appreciate what you've done and helping me help them, right? So.
Tell me what's on your mind. Tell me what's on your mind. Tell me what's on your mind, 'cause I can't
So we got Colin out here on his bike today. This was his first day riding a downhill bike, and it was really nice of him to offer to donate this thing. The donation is for the Old Fort Strong Fund, which is benefiting individuals and small businesses in Old Fort, North Carolina, which is just 30 minutes up the road. They were one of the hardest hit areas from the hurricane in September. A lot of mudslides just completely destroyed people's homes, and in a lot of cases insurance doesn't cover it. So we're raffling off this bike in $20 tickets. You can buy as many as you want. A $20 entry is one chance to win, and all the proceeds are going to the Old Fort Fund and to those people who lost their homes. The winner's going to be chosen on December 7th. They have an endurance festival in Old Fort to raise money for the Old Fort Strong Fund. So we'll go there with the bike and have it on display, and maybe sell a couple last minute tickets and then donate all the money back to those guys. I think it's so cool that Colin reached out to us with this idea. He asked if we would sign the frame and help spread the word, and I could do him one better by building it up with all the spare parts we had from the season and helping to promote it as well. Sometimes social media drives me crazy, but when you can use it to spread a good word like this and do something that's more effective than just you yourself, I think that's a pretty cool use of it. And yeah, I think for one, Colin supporting us by buying the frame. He's local, he lives 10 minutes from me. As soon as we launched our first bikes for sale, he's not a downhill rider, but he ordered a downhill frame and then didn't put it together, didn't have like the urgency to build it. Things got in the way that he wasn't able to ride it, and had the idea then to donate it back to a good cause. And I think like on multiple levels, that's just so cool that we have people like that in our community, people like that are supporters of Frameworks.
As we prep with Nico to get this drawing underway, going to show us some of that bike race footage.
Get through that chicane to get those to get through the checkpoint up there. People are like, yeah, that needs to claim it.
Come on, Christian.
Right on. Yeah!
We're getting to this huge first lap, aren't we? Slick! Maybe just.
Yes, George. Woo. Woo. Woo.
Wire. Hey! My tires are muddy! Are we waiting? Can't get a hole here! I thought you were a bear!
What's that? That was the thing that Kristen was worried and warning me about is the ice. Oh, hello.
Good morning.
Photo. Hello.
Hi.
I'm a whole crank.
That's not fun.
You're doing good.
Good job, bud.
I forgot your name. I'm Houston Mountain Bike Adventures. Chris.
Stephanie.
Stephanie, nice to see you.
Good to see you again.
Oh, this sucks. You can't see this, but it's so hell. Wow, my chain has dust coming off of it. My bike feels like 20 pounds heavier. I don't know how far back they are. On your left, nice work. I love the heart thing.
Oh, thanks.
Racer meeting, I would know. I don't know if it has to be started by 4 or in at 4. I hope it's in at 4. No, yeah. Because that would mean I get to do one less lap. That'd be nice. Whew. I love a turn with decreasing berm support. I'm not going to say I have these turns dialed, but I've done them a few times now. Less brakes, less brakes. No brakes. This one is a little wet in weird places. This corner I always fuck up. Not this time, not this time, not this time. Yeah. Straight across. This is a section that's like still frozen. So it's fast. Woo-hoo. Man, I'm so glad I'm not doing the 12-hour. Should have used no brakes on that corner. No brakes, no brakes, no brakes! If nothing else, the GoPro has given me someone or something to talk to. It's kind of nice. I always feel so fucking slow in that corner. I should eat something, but I'm not going to. That's how racing goes. I should really do this for myself. It would be good, in my best interest. Nope. Why does bonking happen? Ooh. Woo. Try to do a little skid, ran out of talent. It happens. Ooh. Hello. On your left. Cool, thanks, man. Oh my god, is my chain about to fucking fall apart? Feels like it. I ran a wax chain, I don't need it. Don't crush, don't crush. Skirt! E-brake, throttle. Oh, wasn't clipped in. Shit on this bridge. Okay, good. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Much of our population became unemployed instantly. The Sunday after, we were finally able to cut our way out of, the streets that we live on and get into town. We just said, we need to do something. We're the only restaurant that is on high ground. We still have food in the fridge that's gonna go bad. We got a generator and we turned on the kitchen and we just started cooking. The community started coming out of their homes with food from their fridges saying, here, this is gonna go bad, can you cook it for me? And then whatever's left, please cook and give to the fire department or give to a neighbor. And we just started cooking for the community. It was that breakfast was the first and we didn't stop for another 28,000 meals.
Hi. Okay, so go ahead and put your name and phone number and make sure it's legible. Okay.
We're trying to keep warm for everybody.
Absolutely not a problem. So let's get you some propane, and I just got in some heaters. Oh, thank you.
I realized that these people aren't going to leave their property. The second week after, our temperatures in the morning were 28 degrees, and I couldn't imagine them being in a tent with a little propane heater or sometimes just the little hot hand packets in their sleeping bags to keep them warm. I just realized that we had to do something. We've got to give them something that's more stable for them to be in. The Davis Relief Fund is a family-born effort to raise money and protect people starting with Old Fort, but hopefully being able to do enough for Western North Carolina. To date, we have been able to do 5 relief cabins. They are fully insulated. They have baseboard heating. They've got a generator that comes with it that they can run power off of, but it's completely off-grid. So they can be put anywhere and they don't need any kind of utility hookup. They just need to be dropped. The builders that we're working with, they're doing the cabins at just material costs. A cabin that would typically cost $24,000, we're able to do everything for just $13,000. Families have been here for multiple generations and, close to 200 years. There are so many people in town that we can look at and say, you're kin, you are part of our family. Everybody's connected. And because of that, everyone is family. So you've just got to take care of them. I mean, that's what you do.
I've been here all my life. The family's been here since the early 1750s. When the economy went down, I looked at my sister, I said, this tree bark's gonna be hard to eat. We're gonna have to go back to what our grandparents taught us and start raising pigs. That's Rose. Very good mama. This is babies that was born a week before the storm come in here. "46 inches of water in 24 hours. It was like a war zone. I mean, we lost all of our grain crops, 9 acres of corn, 6 acres of sorghum cane. So that's my income. Feed for the pigs this fall, winter, all of that's gone. Yeah, it's gonna be a long road. It's not gonna be as long for me as it is other people, but it's gonna be a long road. To be able to raise food and feed other people. It makes you whole in here. Just don't forget that we're a community. We need to work together to help each other.
This was my family home. I was living there with my mom and my dad. My sister had just recently moved out. We moved here in 2001, so I was 1. And I'm 25, turning 25, so I spent my whole life in here. All of our important stuff was really in this room. You can see that the mold is it's all over the walls. It's even part of the floor, but you can see the water line. We spent a lot of Christmases at our piano because my grandmother taught me how to play. The living room's hard to see because it was our spot. My sister and I used to dance in this windowsill. My mom would say, if we have a tornado, if we have a hurricane, get in the tub and put your head down. And that sucker stayed. It just moved like an inch. It didn't move far. We realized that the water was up to about the front porch step, and it had never been that high before. So we decided to take safety measures to go across the street to the school. And we were in there for about 5 hours. We could watch from the second floor. We saw cars, we saw the bus float away. The National Guard came and got us out once the water had receded. We had to get into one of the tankers because the mud was just so thick. We shuttled to Hardee's and we found one of my dad's friends who saved his car. The roads were rough, power lines were down, the trees were down. Locals were quick to get in and cut ways for people to maneuver. If you didn't know that back way, or if you didn't risk going the back way, people were stuck here. My dad and I came back the day after and we prepared ourselves and we said, you know, it may be covered in mud, but we're gonna be able to get our stuff. And then we opened it and this is what we found. My mom actually stood in the hall and she just looked up and she just cried and thanked the Lord for our Thanksgivings and our Christmases and our memories that we have in here. She served us well, our little house. She was old, but she has character and she was ours. So we're thankful that we had the time that we did. We've been staying with my sister and my brother-in-law. We're getting ready to move into a little rental, and eventually we hope to be back in Old Fort in a few years. It's hard for them, my mom and my dad, realizing that you were gonna start over at 53 and 55. The night that we left and we finally got to the hotel room, she goes, I just wanna ask God, where are you at? And we were laying there trying to figure out what we were gonna do, where we were gonna start. And from that evening and that day forward, every single thing fell into place for us. And I can't even explain how He has been our rock through all of it. And He has literally picked us up and kept us going. We realized that the people's what make a home, and that was a hard lesson for us to learn, but we're moving forward from everything.
Oh, there he is. There he is. We're ready, Jason.
All right, as we start to get ready for this Frameworks raffle, sorry for the delay on that. We've got to do some random number generating, and Amber Mullally's doing some spreadsheeting and doing all kinds of fun stuff like that. But yeah, we're really excited to do this. Excited to see the final number that they were able to round up for this bike raffle. I heard it was large, which is super awesome to hear. It's like we got everybody on deck, and we'll be kicking this off in just a moment.
He was just here a minute ago. And you guys can pass this. That's about how far you got. Okay.
Jason, your last name again?
McDougald.
McDougald.
When you're on the screen, you're on.
You want me to be in the screen? You want to Logan's the one that's going to choose the...
I'm just going to introduce you guys,
Okay.
and I can pass this.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, perfect. Whatever works.
All right.
And Colin should be around here.
All right, here we go. You guys ready?
Too late.
Too late.
Somebody could find Colin. Sweet.
All right, thanks for coming back to the live feed here at Old Fort Strong. I'm here with Jason McDougald, Nico and Logan Mullally, and we have a raffle to announce.
Hey guys, first of all, thanks so much for everybody who participated in this bike raffle. First and foremost, Colin Islandfelds, who donated his frame. He had bought this frame when we first sold our Frameworks production downhill bikes. He's a local guy, and he never got it built up, and emailed us and asked if he could donate it to raise money for Old Fort. I think he's got his own attachment to this camp here at Camp Grier. He went here when he was a kid, and there was so much damage in this area from the hurricane in September, so he had the idea to donate this bike. And when he emailed me, he just wanted us to help spread the word, and I called him and said that I had enough parts to build the bike and could help more by promoting it. So ultimately, we raised $43,196 that we're donating to Camp Grier, and all that money is going to help the local community here from storm damage. So you want to say something, and then we'll choose the winner here in a minute.
Awesome. Yeah, we can't thank these guys enough. I mean, Nico and Colin, this was such a huge contribution. I mean, we had no idea this was happening, and when they announced it, and after the first day they raised $20,000, and we were like, holy cow, like that was so fast. And we're just so grateful for the efforts and for everybody that bought the tickets. And I'd love for y'all to choose a winner, and then I'd love to just talk for a few minutes just about where this money's going, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we did is we took everybody's $20 tickets that they bought, each person that put in an order. We put them into a spreadsheet and assigned them a random number. We shuffled their names, and then we created a random number generator on Google. So 3 times randomized it. So Logan, can you just explain like how you chose the number and who the winner is?
Yeah, sure. So we just went on, we created everybody in a spreadsheet. If you bought more than one ticket, you're more than one line in our spreadsheet. And then in addition to that, you get a random number attached to your name, 1 through however many tickets we had. We had 2,804 tickets sold. So then we went on Google, put those parameters in, random generated it. And the random generated number, I just did it 1 minute ago while we were on this live. The random number was 1,119, and that is paired to Valentin Stillick. So we'll get in touch with him, and we have all his information there. We'll get in touch with him and make sure he gets his bike.
Yeah, congratulations, Valentine, man.
Awesome.
This is awesome.
So Logan, maybe while we're speaking a little more, can you look up and see where he's from, and we can tell everybody?
Yeah, so just a little bit about the fund. So with this donation, this puts the fund at over $900,000 raised. So I think we're at 913 right now, which is really incredible. I mean, Old Fort is a town of 1,000 people, and there were 56 homes that were destroyed. And this is going to go a long way to replacing a lot of those homes. We made the first round of grants out of the fund last week, actually. So we granted 11 families $321,000 out of that fund. And when we called them and made those announcements, there's tears of joy and just hooting and hollering. And it's just really a huge deal for this tiny little community in Western North Carolina. So we're really grateful for Nico and for Colin and all their efforts for helping us push us, over that $900,000 mark. Thank you guys so much.
It's our pleasure. So Valentin Stillick is from Austria. It's really cool that people from all the way around the world were donating money here to help Old Fort. So we will, it's middle of the night, but hopefully he wakes up to a nice message, and we'll get this bike boxed up and sent to him on Monday. So when the snow melts over there, he'll have a new bike to ride.
That's awesome. Well, we really appreciate y'all joining us for this event and making it all the way out here, and also for your time and energy putting this together. It's really a great thing, so thank y'all again.
Very welcome. It's our pleasure. Yeah.